This channel features long classes and challenging poses, and today's class is a Vinyasa flow with lots of headstands to give you a great total body workout. Expect to get sweaty because I know I definitely did. Hi there, welcome back to Yoga Dose. My name's Cece. Today we're going to begin standing at the top of our mat. Connect to your breathing here. And we'll begin by reaching the arms overhead and exhaling, folding all the way forward over our legs. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, step into a plank. Slowly lower all the way down to your stomach. Lift up into a low cobra position. And then begin to straighten your arms, pressing up into a full cobra. Tops of the feet pressing down. Now lower all the way to your belly and press back up, hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Actively spread the fingers, pressing down a little bit more weight into the first finger and thumb side of the hands. But at the same time, you're rotating your upper outer arms, your triceps back, and your biceps forward. Feel free to pedal your heels here, warm up your hamstrings, and when you're ready, hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, create length in the spine, and exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, rise all the way up with your arms overhead, and exhale into Tadasana mountain pose. Again, we're going to inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands and either hop or step back into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog here. And exhale, lift your hips up and back, pressing into downward facing dog. We're going to warm up with a few sun salutations. Surya Namaskar A here. Turn your gaze in between your knees, or if you can, up towards your navel. And then look forward, hop or step to the top of your mat. Inhale halfway, exhale fold, and inhale rise all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale Samastitihi. Again, A, come inhale, arms up. Due, exhale fold. Trini, inhale halfway. Chatwari, jump or step back, Chaturanga. Pancha, inhale up. Shats, exhale, downward facing dog. Release your shoulders away from your ears. Look forward to the top of your mat. Bring your feet up to your hands, come up halfway. Ashto fold, and Nava, inhale, raise your arms all the way up overhead, and exhale, Samasthitihi. Moving into Surya Namaskar B, bend the knees, Utkatasana, arms overhead, squeezing the legs together. Bring the hands down to the mat, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right foot forward, in between the hands, coming up into Warrior One. We're going to hold here a couple breaths. Now lower your hands down to the mat, move through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot in between the hands, Warrior One. Breathe here. Now exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Move through Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Create length in the spine, keeping your hips high. Your legs pressing back towards the wall behind you. Turn your gaze up towards your hands. Hop or step to the top of your mat. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Bend the knees coming into Utkatasana. And exhale, Samastitihi. Taking B again. Inhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, hop or step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the right foot in between the hands, warrior one. Bring the hands down to the mat, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha. Bring the left foot in between the hands, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat, move through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Navel drawing in. Breathing deep, engaging the quadricep muscles. Breathe deep in this downward facing dog. Turn your gaze forward. Hop or step up to your hands. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose, Utkatasana. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale again, chair pose, Utkatasana. Squeeze the legs together, drop the hips. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, hop or step, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. And exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot in between the hands, warrior one. Front knee over the right ankle. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Push back into downward facing. Bring the left foot in between the hands, warrior one. Lower the hands to the mat, step back. Lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Starting to build heat in the body, warming up for your practice. Feel free to rest in child's pose whenever needed. Look forward to the top of your mat. Hop or step up. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Holding here. Sink your hips down a little bit more, weight in the heels. Make sure your knees aren't going over your toes. Try to turn your gaze up towards your thumbs. Now lower down, planting the hands, moving into Bakasana. Bring the knees to the outside of the arms or up in the armpits. Straightening through the arms, holding crow pose. Strongly engage your bandhas. Holding here, and if you can, shoot back into a Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up, step it in between the hands, coming up into a warrior one position. So you're lined up front heel with back heel. You have a deep bend in your front knee. Now move into warrior two. Switch your feet so that your back heel is lined up with your front heels, but lined up with the back arch, and your arms are extended out to the side. Your gaze over the front middle finger. Moving into reverse warrior here. Taking the right hand overhead, the left arm down the left leg. Windmill your hands down to the mat, keeping your right leg up. Move through Chaturanga into upward facing dog and push back into downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up, step it in between your hands for warrior one. Try to bring that right hip forward so that your hips are squaring off towards the front of the mat. Bring your hands to your heart. adjust your back foot so it's front heel to back arch, moving into warrior two. Gaze over the front left fingers. Now lower the right hand, taking the left hand up and overhead into reverse warrior, keeping that deep bend in the left knee. Feeling a nice stretch through the side body. Windmill the hands down to the mat, keeping the left leg lifted, lower into chaturanga. Inhale Urdhva Mukha and exhale Adho Mukha Svanasana. Gaze to the top of your mat, hop or step up, inhale halfway, exhale fold, inhale Utkatasana chair pose and exhale Samastitihi. Inhale Utkatasana chair pose. And exhale, bring the hands down to the mat, moving into crow pose again, Bakasana. Strongly lift through your core here, press through your hands. Draw your feet towards your glutes. And if you're in crow, gently bring your chest closer to the ground, lower the crown of your head and move into a tripod headstand position. Engage your core and lift your legs straight up. And then pike your legs down halfway and shoot them back into a chaturanga position, moving through upward facing dog and exhale downward facing dog. Bring the right leg in between the hands, coming up into warrior one. Moving into warrior two on the right side. Bend a little bit deeper into that front leg. Engage your tricep muscles. Now lower the left hand, take the right arm overhead, reverse your warrior. Keeping that reverse position, straighten the front right leg and take a reverse triangle pose, getting a deep stretch in the side body. Come up to a T position, shift forward and move into Utthita Trikonasana. Right leg down on your shin, your foot, or holding your big toe. Bring your left arm up and wrap it around your body, reaching for your front right pocket. Release that, keeping your right leg up, move through chaturanga into upward facing dog and exhale downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up for warrior one. Sinking deep into that front leg, draw the right hip forward to match the left. Rooting down through your feet. Switch the position of the feet, moving into warrior two. Front heel lined up with back arch. Gaze over the front left fingers, strongly reaching. Drop the right hand. Take the left arm overhead, moving into reverse warrior. Bend a little bit deeper into that front knee. Now straighten that front left leg, keeping the reverse position. Stretch through the side body. Come up to a T position. Hinge the hips forward, moving into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Take the right arm overhead and then reach it back behind you, taking it into your left pocket, getting a nice shoulder stretch here. Release and cartwheel your hands down to your mat, keeping the left leg up. Move through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward to the top of your mat. Hop or step up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come into chair pose. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, back into chair pose, arms overhead. Sink deep into those hips. Bring the hands down to the mat, moving into crow pose, Bakasana again. This time you can gently lower your head again if you like. Move into tripod headstand. Engaging your core. Pike your legs and shoot back into chaturanga. Inhale Urdhva Mukha and exhale Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale your right leg up, step it in between your hands for warrior one. Sink deep into that front knee. Draw that left hip forward. Move into warrior two. Gaze over your front right hand. Drop the left hand, bring the right arm overhead into reverse warrior. Straighten that leg, reverse triangle pose. Come up to a T, hinge forward on your hips and move into Trikonasana. Take that right arm overhead in line with your ears, swing it around behind you, grasping onto your right pocket. Your gaze can be up if it's comfortable for your neck. Engaging all of your leg muscles. Now gaze forward towards your mat. Bring your right hand about a foot in front of the pinky toe side of your left foot, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, keeping that half wrap with your top arm. So you're going to actively reach through that left leg, pressing the heel, pressing down through your right hand. You can turn your gaze up if you'd like. Look down, slowly lower that top leg, moving into side angle pose with a bind. So from here, take your right arm in front of your right leg and underneath, taking your left arm behind and clasp your hands behind you. Again, if it's comfortable for your neck, turn your gaze upwards. Otherwise, look straight ahead or down. Begin to straighten your front right leg for a bound triangle pose. Just be careful with your shoulders here as it's a really deep stretch. Release here, windmill your hands down to the mat, keeping your right leg up, move through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg up, bring it through in between your hands for warrior one. Bring your hands into your heart, open up to warrior two. Make sure your feet are lined up, front heel to back arch, pressing down evenly through the feet. You want a little more weight in the heel of the front left leg, so that you could lift up your toes at any time. Take your right arm behind you and your left arm overhead, reverse your warrior. Straighten your left leg, reverse triangle pose. Come up to a T, shorten the stance if you need to. Move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now take the right arm up overhead, externally rotated by the ear, and take it back behind you, reaching towards your left front pocket. Stretching out that shoulder. Keeping that half wrap, gaze forward towards the top of your mat, taking the left hand about a foot in front of the pinky toe side of the left foot, moving into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Actively press through that right heel, reaching through the crown of your head, opening up towards the right side of your mat. Breathing deep here, then slowly and gently lower that right leg into Utthita Parsvakonasana, side angle with a bind. So your left leg's now in front of your left arm's now in front of your left leg with your right arm behind. Clasping hands, keeping that left knee bent deeply. Start to straighten that front left leg for a bound Trikonasana. Now release. Move into a Chaturanga with the left leg lifted up. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, and exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come back to your steady breath. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Look forward to the top of the mat, hop or step up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, chair pose. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Bending the knees deep. Holding here. Weight in the heels. Release your hands down to the mat. Move into Bakasana, crow pose. From here, bring your chest a little closer to the ground. Lower the crown of your head to the mat into tripod position. Engage the core strongly. Lift the legs up to the sky. Keep your legs glued together, squeezing towards each other. Press down strongly through the hands. Now we're going to lower back into Bakasana. So bending the knees, it's going to take a lot of core strength. Bring your knees back into your elbows and slowly lift your head off the ground. Start to straighten the arms all the way back into Bakasana. Engage that core so strongly, and when you're ready, shoot back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, and exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe deep here. Lift the right leg up. Bring it in between your hands. Warrior one. Arms actively and strongly reaching up overhead. Gaze towards your thumbs. Sink a little bit deeper into that front leg if you can. Now bring your hands to your heart, opening up to warrior two. Strongly reach through your fingertips. Feel the opposition in the hands. Engage those tricep muscles strongly and sink a little bit deeper into that front knee if you can. Drop the left hand, bring the right hand overhead, reverse your warrior. Try to avoid putting your left hand directly on your knee. Try to go for your thigh or your calf. Now straighten the right leg, reverse triangle. Come up into a T. Move into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Bringing your top arm back behind you, bringing it into your right front pocket for that half bind. Gazing up towards the ceiling. Now look down towards the mat, planting the right hand about a foot in front of the pinky toe side of that right foot, lifting the left leg strongly up, pressing out through the heel, engaging the quads, engaging the calves, engaging the core, keeping that half bind in Ardha Chandrasana. If you want here, you can even bind with the top arm and the top foot, the left hand grabbing the left foot. And if you are, strongly press the hand into the foot, resisting against each other. Release that bind, slowly lower down into side angle. Take your full bind here with your right arm in front of the right knee and your left arm behind you, clasping hands behind your back. Holding here. Now turn your gaze down towards your front foot. And if you want, step that left foot back to meet your front foot, lifting up the right leg into a bird of paradise position. Be careful with yourself here and your shoulders. You can keep the knee bent in bird of paradise or begin to straighten out through that right leg, using all of that hamstring flexibility, actively reaching and extending and balancing. Slowly bend that knee and bring it back down to meet the left foot. Step the left foot back into side angle. Release your bind, come up into warrior two. Bring your hands down to the mat, move through your vinyasa with the right leg up, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, and exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Moving through that sequence on the left side, lift your left leg up into a three-legged downward facing dog. Actively reaching. Bring it through into warrior one. Draw the right hip a little bit forward to meet the left hip. Press down through the outer edge of that back foot. Sink a little bit deeper if you can. Strongly reaching your arms straight up. Bring your hands to your heart. Open up, warrior two. Draw that front left knee a little bit out towards the left so that it's not coming in towards the center line too much. Spiral open your thighs. Draw the navel in and up strongly, engaging the muscles of the pelvic floor. Breathing deeply. Lower the right hand. Bring it up and overhead into reverse warrior. Bend that front left knee a little bit deeper before you straighten it, moving into reverse triangle pose. Come up to a T position, hinge forward at the hips, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right arm extended overhead, bring it up towards your ear and wrap it around behind you, holding onto your left front pocket. Strongly engage the muscles of the front left leg, pressing down through the ball of your foot. Turn your gaze down, taking that left hand about a foot in front of the left foot, keeping that half wrap, move into Ardha Chandrasana. If you want to here, you can bind right hand with right foot again. If you catch that bind, reach the knee up and press the top of the foot against the hand so strongly. Feel them resist against each other. Slowly release that bind. Lower the right leg down, moving into side angle with a full wrap bind. Your left arm in front of the left leg and your right arm behind you, clasping hands. You can turn your gaze upwards. Holding here, and then you can turn your gaze down towards your front left foot. Step the right foot up to meet it. Press down actively through the right foot and then lift your left leg up into Bird of Paradise. Start to straighten out that left leg, reaching through the toes, using all your hamstring flexibility, being careful with your shoulders in this deep bind. Slowly, slowly and gently lower that left foot back down to meet the right. Step the right foot back into side angle. Release your bind, opening up into Warrior Two, and windmill your hands down to the mat, moving through Chaturanga with the left leg up. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, and exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe here, come back to your steady breath. Root down through the hands and the feet. Gaze forward to the top of the mat. Hop or step up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, bend the knees, coming into chair pose with Utkatasana. And exhale, Samastitihi. Now from here, bring your hands to your waist. Exhale, fold all the way forward, grabbing your big toes with your first two fingers and thumbs. Lift up, resist against the big toes, create length, and exhale, fold all the way down into Padangustasana. If your legs are straight, engage your quad muscles very strongly. Try to shift your weight forward towards the balls of your feet. Really, really engage Uddiyana Bandha here in these forward folds. Now, keeping a hold of your right big toes, bring your left hand to your waist and lift up into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Extending the right leg out. Trying to keep your back straight as if you were up against a wall. Breathing deep. You can always just hold your knee into your chest or use a strap here. Taking your left hand to the outside of the right foot, we're going to take a twist. So take your right arm behind you and gaze over your right shoulder if you're feeling balanced here. Root down strongly through that left leg. Engage your glutes and your quads. Now come back to center. Release your hands. Take your arms overhead, keeping that right leg lifted. Use all your muscles to keep it lifted as high as you can, and then gently release. Bringing your hands back to your waist. Inhale, and exhale. Fold all the way forward, taking your palms underneath your feet for Padahastasana. Inhale, create length, and exhale, fold forward into this deep forward fold. Bring your toes onto the creases of your wrist. Maybe massage any tension out of there from all the chaturangas and bakasanas. Strongly lift your belly muscles. Now inhale halfway, grab your waist with your right hand, keep a hold of the big toes with your left hand, lift that left leg straight up into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Otherwise, hold the knee into the chest or use a strap around your foot. Breathing deep. It's really important to keep a nice tall spine, not to lean back or forward or to one side. Now taking the right hand to the outside of the left foot, reach your left arm behind you, twisting open to the left side of your mat. Turn the gaze over your left shoulder, keeping that left leg straight. Bring your hands back to center, keeping the left leg up, arms overhead. Strongly lift that leg up, keeping your hips level. Core engaged strongly, and lower that leg down. Come back to the top of your mat. Now stepping the left leg back, opening up into a wide leg position for Prasarita. Lowering the hands down underneath the shoulders, create length, and exhale, fold forward, trying to get your crown of the head down to the ground. If the crown of your head reaches the ground here, you can press strongly through your hands and begin to lift your feet up into a tripod headstand. Otherwise, just stay with Prasarita A. If you're in tripod headstand, glue your legs together strongly, reach out through the balls of your feet. Pressing down strongly through the hands, holding here. Slowly split your legs, lowering them back down to the mat as slow as you possibly can, hovering above the ground for a second, and then gently lowering them down. Inhale, come halfway up. And begin to lower down into middle splits if you can. Otherwise, we'll take Mandukasana frog pose, where you have your knees down on the mat, your feet are pointing outwards, and you lower down onto your forearms for a deep stretch. It might feel good to put some extra padding under your knees, but over time, if you do this posture enough, you almost get knee calluses and it doesn't hurt as much. Just breathe deep here, keeping your muscles active. And every exhale, sink a little bit deeper into the pose. bringing your hands back up. We're going to move towards the front right leg, moving into Hanumanasana splits. You can take half splits here, just stretching the hamstring, or move into full Hanumanasana. If you want, you can place a block under your hips if you're not all the way down. The most important thing here is to be careful with your hamstrings, but also to keep your hips as squared off to the front of the mat as possible. Strongly engage the muscles of the legs. Your front right quad should be strongly engaged and your foot flexed. You can reach your arms overhead if you feel comfortable there. And then maybe even fold forward over that front leg. If you're folding forward, really engage those stomach muscles, lifting them in and up. Press yourself back up slowly. Move out of splits, bending your right knee, moving into pigeon pose. So your right knee's bent, and the more parallel it is to the front of the mat, the deeper your hip stretch is going to be. Gaze behind you to make sure your back left leg is straight, your toes are straight behind you, and then slowly lower down as much as feels comfortable. Try to keep your hips level, and if you find you're leaning over towards the right hip a bit more, you can place a blanket, a block, or a pillow, something to support that right hip to keep it equal with the left. If you want to take a twist, thread your left arm underneath the right and then bring the right arm behind you and try to find your left big toe and just clasp on. And you can get a nice shoulder stretch here, opening the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply, keeping the muscles of the back leg active. Release the twist if you're in it. Coming back into pigeon. And here, if you want to bend the left knee, we'll take that extra quad and hip flexor stretch. I like to flip my grip here, turning the fingers forward. You can do that if that feels okay, but just actively try to reach your heel down towards your glute. If you want to take mermaid arms or the full Ekapada Kapotasana, Raja Kapotasana, King Pigeon, feel free to do so. If that's in your practice, you can use a strap to hold onto that back foot. But now gently release without using your hands. Swing that left leg forward on top of the right. Hug that left knee into your chest and twist open using your right arm leveraging on the left leg. Twist and gaze behind you, moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Another fun thing you can do here is you can take your right arm in that hole that your left leg makes and reach behind you and take a bind. That sometimes helps to open your twist a little bit deeper. Every inhale, sit up a little taller, and every exhale, twist a little deeper. Now, coming back to center, bring that left knee directly over the right knee. Flex the feet for Gomukhasana cow face pose. You can bring your right arm overhead and your left arm underneath and clasp hands if that feels good on your shoulders. You can stay sitting upright or hinge forward over your legs. If you're hinging forward, strongly engage those stomach muscles to protect your spine. Now from here, a fun exit would be to plant your hands into tripod, lifting the legs up in those Gomukhasana legs. And then switch. Actually, from here, we're just going to shoot the legs back into Chaturanga, moving through your Vinyasa, ending up in downward facing dog. Then inhale up to the top of your mat. Exhale, fold all the way forward, and inhale, come back to a standing position. This time you're going to step your right foot behind you, coming into Prasarita A, planting the hands, and exhale, folding forward, lowering the crown of the head down, planting the hands, and lift the feet up off the ground in this tripod headstand. And then when you're ready, split the legs, lower them all the way back down, coming back up halfway, and then moving towards the left side. We're going to take splits on the left leg. So you can stick with half Hanumanasana if you want, or move into the full posture. If you're in the full posture, try to keep level hips, hips squared towards the front of the mat, left quadricep engaged, left foot actively pressing up. You can lift the arms overhead. And if you want, exhale, fold over that left leg. Strongly draw the belly in and up. Be careful with your legs here. Don't go deeper than you can. Slowly and carefully bend the left knee, moving into pigeon. Again, if you need more sensation in your hip, then bring that left leg more parallel to the front of the mat for a deeper stretch. Check to make sure your back leg is straight behind you, and feel free to fold all the way forward. Try to keep your leg muscles and your core muscles engaged, not totally resting yet, still actively stretching here. If you want to take that twist again, thread the right arm underneath the left, taking the left hand behind, grabbing onto the big toe, gazing up towards the ceiling, twisting open that left shoulder. Release that twist, coming back up, and now you can bend your right knee, taking that hip flexor and quad stretch. Feel free to flip your grip if you'd like, bringing the heel close to the glute. Being careful with your knees here. Move into mermaid arms, or do whatever you did on the other side, trying to keep your body as even as possible. Release that stretch. Swing your right leg on top of your left without using your hands. Hug that right knee into the chest, moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Left elbow pressing against the right leg. Taking the right arm behind you into the left pocket or binding. And your gaze over the right shoulder. Every inhale, create as much length as you can, sitting up taller. Every exhale, twist deeper through your thoracic spine. Turn your gaze as far over the right shoulder as you can, and your body will follow your gaze. Release that, stacking the right knee on top of the left for Gomukhasana. Flex both the feet, sit up nice and tall. If that's enough of a stretch, stay there, or you can lift your left arm up, bending your arm, taking your right arm behind you and clasping hands. If you can't reach hands, you could just grab onto your shirt or use a strap here. Again, feel free to hinge forward or stay sitting up. Release the arms, planting the head, the crown of the head, moving into a tripod position. Extend the legs straight up, hinging from the hips, and shoot back into Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, and exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Look forward to the top of your mat. Hop or step up. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, coming up into chair pose, Utkatasana. Now from here, sink a little bit deeper in your chair pose. Keep sinking, lower, lower, lower until your hips touch the ground, moving into boat pose, Navasana. Lift through your heart and keep as much length in your spine as you can. You can bend the knees here. Engaging your core. Now as slow as you can, begin to lower all the way down to your back. Go as slow as you can and strongly engaging the core. Holding in Ardha Navasana. Breathing deep. Feel those core muscles working. And release all the way down. Now we're going to do a little bit more core, so lift your legs straight up, lowering the right leg down, scissoring the legs. Now the left leg, your hands are interlaced behind your head, lifting up. Switch legs, right leg down, scissoring the legs. Bring that leg up to meet, lower the left leg. Bring that leg back up, lower the right leg. Bring that leg back up, lower the left leg. Bring that leg back up, lower the right leg. Bring it back up, lower the left leg. Inhale up, exhale, lower the right leg. Inhale up, exhale, left leg. Inhale, back up. Bending the knees, take a few yogi bicycles, left elbow to right knee. Switch, right elbow to left knee. Switch, switch legs. Left elbow to right knee. Switch legs. Strongly engage your core here. Switch legs. Switch. Back to center. Switch legs. Back to center. Switch legs. Come back to center with your knees in a tabletop position. Crunch towards your knees and straighten your legs. Slowly release your hands down towards your hips and gently lower your legs almost to the ground. Bring them back up. Lower them down. Bring them all the way back up. Lower them almost to the ground. Bring them back up. Lower down. Inhale, bring them back up. Lower down. Back up. And again. Inhale, back up. Lower down. Inhale, back up. Lower down. Inhale, back up. And down. You should feel your core burning. Lower down. Inhale, back up, and then release. Take a nice stretch, reaching your arms overhead. Reach through your hands and your feet. Hug your knees into your chest. And then bring your heels as close to your glutes as you can. Coming into a bridge pose, you can interlace your fingers underneath you. Lifting your hips up, keeping your chin away from your chest. Make sure your knees are directly over your ankles and your hip distance apart. Your feet are parallel to each other, the outer edges. Pressing down strongly through the heels. Lower down. Take another bridge if you want, or move into Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel pose. Today I'm putting blocks underneath my feet. That helps give you a little more height if you experience any pain in your lower back. It can just help create more of a line for you. Otherwise, hold here in your bridge or your Urdhva Dhanurasana. Lower down to the crown of your head if you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, and then press back up. If you're in wheel, take a rest, and then if you're in bridge, lift back up. Lower down to the crown of your head. Inhale, press back up into Urdhva Dhanurasana. And lower all the way down, putting your shoulders down first, protecting your neck. Gently hug the knees into the chest. Take a few rocks side to side. Maybe take happy baby if that feels good, releasing tension in your back. Start rocking forward and back, and then roll all the way up into a standing forward fold. You can grab onto your calves or hold opposite elbows. You can rock a little side to side, gently releasing your spine. Just taking a gentle forward fold as a counter pose. Breathe deeply here. Maybe take a few more rocks side to side if you're holding opposite elbows. Gently nod your head, shake it, release your neck. Now plant the hands and shoot back into Chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog, and exhale, press back into a downward facing dog. Just notice how this downward dog feels different from the first one you took. Look forward to the top of your mat, bend the knees, hop all the way through into a seated position. Slowly and gently lower onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest. Maybe take a few rocks side to side. Strongly hug the knees into the chest. Do whatever feels good here. Any last stretch on your back. You can maybe make figure eights. Take happy baby again. Grabbing the outer edges of the feet, drawing the knees towards the elbows, the armpits. And now bringing your feet together and dropping your knees out to the side, move into Supta Baddha Konasana, getting one final hip stretch. Now you can feel free to stay here in Supta Baddha Konasana or just move into Savasana whenever you're ready. So if you're going to move into Savasana, just let your legs go about as wide as your mat. Gently release them. Your arms by your sides, palms facing up. Release your Ujjayi Pranayama breathing. And just feel your body sink into the mat. Let go of anything you are holding on to and just relax. Bring your breath back to your body. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing small movements back to your body, slowly waking yourself up from Savasana. You can roll out your ankles or your wrists. Bring your arms overhead. Take a nice stretch. You can draw your knees into your chest. I wasn't there yet. I was saying all that and I wasn't even there yet.
Yeah.
Should I say all that again?
Yeah.
I thought I was there, but I wasn't. Okay, that's it. That's gotta be it. Bring your breath back to your body, gently waking yourself up from Savasana. Bring small movements back, wiggling your fingers, maybe wiggling your toes, rolling out your ankles or your wrists. Reach up overhead, taking a nice stretch through the whole body. Bend the knees, maybe hug them in. Do whatever feels good for you, waking up from your Savasana. When you're ready, maybe roll off to one side. And gently push yourself up to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall here. Take a deep inhale, deep exhale. Bring your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. If this class didn't have enough headstands in it for you, be sure to try my 7 headstands of Ashtanga flow to learn some new headstand variations you can add to your practice.